So good, we can get started. Let's get to work here. Okay, not a lot to do today. I just want to touch base with a couple of things and keep us ticking over. I will be adjusting our test one preparation timeline. I'm doing that as I speak to you to try and make it manageable because we've effectively lost a week, and I'm going to adjust accordingly. And I will try and do that as best as I can. Bestest as I can. That's terrible. As best as I can. Now I need to appoint my gatekeeper, who's going to look after Mr. Crapnell and make sure he doesn't do too many outrageously bad things today. Stephanie, can I give you that honourable role to, if I, say I'm presenting something and I'm obviously not, could you just open your mic and yell at me? Stephanie. Oh, Stephanie must have stepped away for a moment. Who else going to get? Emma, could you do that for me?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, Emma. If I'm just presenting the wrong screen, just go, hey, Mr. Crapnell. All right, and girls, raise your hands, ask any questions, or just do a t-shirt and open your mic and talk. That's the easiest way. So first thing I want to look at is we finished this trig quiz. I know it's, well, I was going to say it feels like a week ago. It was a week ago. And these were the only two questions that came back and bit me. If we just look at, we had 70% of the class get it, 65. So these were the two highlighted questions. And I just want to make sure that I go over these today. Make sure you've got a feel for them. Go back and do the corrections. Just a word of warning, don't get too caught up in bearings. People seem to think, oh, if I can't do bearings, I can't do trig. Not true. Bearings is only one application. These are your bread and butters. These are well, that's not even true. This question 5 here would definitely be right at the end of the paper as a problem solving and reasoning question. This one here, question 4, would be more like fluency and understanding. So I've got two different types. So we're going to do them today. I'm going to have a quick look at the flip lesson that I asked you to do with the substitution. And then that's the only thing I'm going to ask you to do on the weekend is make sure that you're up to date with that exercise on substitution. It is essential you do the flip lesson. There's a couple that still haven't done it, and I really need you to do that. And then we leap in and do that exercise. So we'll do these two questions, have a look at substitution, and then we'll wrap it up for the day. And then you can go back to your Netflix or your Stan or your Disney Channel, whatever it is you're doing, and we'll get to work. So first one's first. Determine the angle of depression. Now, straight away, depression means am I looking up or looking down, Nell?
Looking down.
Absolutely. Straight away, that's a key word, clue word. From the top of a cliff 25 meters above the sea level to a boat that is 40 meters from the base of the cliff. Right, cool. Draw a picture. Okay, so you're almost sick of these ones. There's my cliff. There's my water. And I've got some boat sitting out to sea. Okay, value add immediately. 25 meter tall cliff. From there to there is 40. Right, I'm going to make the assumption that that's a right angle. The cliff is vertical. It should say that, of a vertical cliff. Now we're looking down. Now, as soon as I see depression, it's the one that I can get caught on. So I draw my horizon in and I get my pen out and I say, right, I'm looking down at that boat. I might even get really schmick and put in my ruler. And I'm looking down at that boat. So I can clearly see a right angle triangle. It's where I put this that's going to make or break the question. Determine the angle of depression from sight down. So that would be, write that in. Okay, now the biggest problem I have with that is what, Georgia?
That the angle's not in the triangle.
Absolutely. Brilliant. So we use our Z rule. If you like, you can use your Z rule. Probably the most popular one in trigonometry. To say that, oh, if that's theta, then so is that. Okay, cool. Therefore, based on that idea, with respect to that angle, I have opposite over adjacent. It's going to be a tan ratio. Okay, so opposite on adjacent, inverse tan because I'm finding an angle. Grab my calculator, 2 ticks. I had my year 12, so this is all set up completely weird. degrees. I want degrees. Shift tan. What have we got? 25 on, 40. Close the brackets. 32 degrees. Bingo. Hence that answer there. Okay. Now, while I've got you all here, we've selected that. Can you see why? Can somebody give an explanation why 8 of our girls in the class gave me 58? I can clearly see why they've answered 58. Come on, don't want to see crickets. You girls are smart. Help me out here. But 2 hands in the air. Thanks, Isabella. Thank you, George, Isabella, and Georgia. But I'm going to wait for a few more people to chip in. We developed the answer as 32. A lot of girls gave the answer as 58. Can you see the connection? Can you see why some of the students in our class gave 58? They know what they're doing. They've only made one mistake. That's it. Now I'm starting to see some hands coming up. Good. Grace, what do you think?
Because it's the other angle that makes up 90.
That's it. Look at them. Add 58 with 32 and you get 90. Thanks, Grace. Yeah, they've basically put the angle of depression here, and they found that to be 50 to 58. Okay, because if you look at them, and that's why the way I wrote the question was that way. Right? Bang! I can see exactly what's going on. Okay. Are we happy with that? Tisha and Isabella, you got your hands up still? Any questions? Oh, cool, fine, thank you. So that's my first question. So that, girls, that is definitely going to be understanding and fluency in understanding. We should just be able to knock that out. And as Nell said at the start, we've got to be really careful. That angle of depression is looking down, okay? And then we got the idea that we've got to be careful that it's not, Georgia told us quite correctly, it wasn't inside the triangle. Now, this question here is much more a problem solving and reasoning question. We really had to think about this one. And we didn't do too badly there. You did better than I expected, to be brutally honest with you there. It says find the angle, the value of the missing angle, correct to 1 decimal place. Bang. So there it is. Now, I need some help. Again, we're going to get you people to fire up and ask some questions for me. What is the major drama with us finding that angle? What's the major block? Come on, one hand up. I want to hear more. I want to see more hands up. Come on. Come on, 3 hands. What is the major block for us finding that angle? There's a major hindrance. And it's going to require us to do a couple of different steps. This is good. Getting some more hands up now. Come on, think. Tisha, what's your thoughts?
Is it because there's two triangles?
There's actually 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And what's the problem with where our angle is, Tisha?
It's on like the outside of the triangle with the 90 degrees.
You got it. It's not part of any right angle triangle that we have. It's part of the only non-right angle triangle. If you look at where theta is, it's in that triangle. And that triangle, Nell, is not a right angle triangle. So we got a problem straight away. Marley, we can't do diddly unless we have a right angle triangle. We can't do a thing, right? And at the moment, Ella, we don't have a right angle triangle. So we're in trouble. So we got to do a little bit of problem solving and reasoning here. I still believe we can get that. Now, Tisha at the start said she saw 2 triangles. I see 3. I saw that one I just sketched out for you there, but I can see this one. And what's the big advantage with that one? Emma, what's a big advantage with that triangle there?
It has a right angle.
Bingo, got it. Now keep that, pin that thought in your head. What's the big advantage? Lily, what's the big advantage with that triangle? Lily, O'Neill or Williams, I'll take either. Gone, maybe. Somebody volunteer. What's the big advantage again with that triangle?
That we have a right angle, maybe?
Yes, good. I keep harping on about it, but it's important. So I'm going to use the two of them together. Okay, here's the big one. And I'm going to call that, well, can't call it that, I've already used it. If I use the big triangle, I can find alpha. If I use the small triangle, I can find gamma. Can you see that? Oh dear, I'm not having a good morning here, girls. Sorry. Can you see my two right angle triangles redrawn? And I've broken the diagram up, and sometimes it's really important that you do that. You smash the diagram up and you redraw it. Now, here's my logic, and I've done no mathematics yet. I think that I can find this angle now by going, well, theta is going to be the big angle minus this little angle. Can you see my logic? Thumbs up if you're comfortable with my logic there. Give us a thumbs up. Come on. I'm going to be frightened if I don't see thumbs up going everywhere. Yeah. Good. That, thank you, girls. That is essentially the question finished. We have nothing else to do because the rest of it's a piece of cake. Because tan alpha is 7 on 8, so I'm going to get an angle there. Tan olive with a stick through it is 3 on 8, so I'm going to get that answer there. And then to finally work out my missing angle, it's going to be that minus that, which gives me the answer. So I'm not going to do the mathematics. I just want to show the problem solving. Our issue was, you go back to the 3 people that gave me a hand with that. Each one of them said, it's not a right angle. It is a right angle. It is a right angle. We can only work with right angles, okay? And we have to just do our very best to manufacture what we've got into a right angle. Okay, that's probably more typical of the sort of question, excuse me, we're looking at. I had a question the other day from somebody that was this one here. I'm an extension for bearings, and this is another style like that. This was a very, very good question. This would be right at the upper end. So I've got to be cautious. I don't want to keep sending you to the really, we've got questions like this on the exam as well. Right, find the bearing, write the bearing, this sort of question, okay, where it's reasonably cut and dried. So don't hit the big red button and think that everything's going to be like those bearing questions. Okay, yeah, this would be the sort of question that would be at the end of the paper. This sort of question here, oh, even that one, no, they're a bit, oh, that one's reasonable. That would be in the middle of the paper maybe. So not everything's going to be like this, but make sure we're good with those as well. Any questions on those 2 quiz questions? Please go back, have a look at it, and make sure you're under control with it. Okay. Okay. All right, jump into today's lesson. These are some questions from the flip lesson. Do we have to put the y and x values back in the equation? I'll talk to that. Once you find the unknown and have all the numbers, do you have to substitute those into the unknown? Yep, same sort of question. Do you have to write substitute? Yeah, you do, because this one here, I'll start with this. The question was, do you have to write substitute A into B? Yeah, you do. And do you have to write SS? Yes, you do. Because I'm going to show you 3 techniques. The first one I'm teaching you is substitution. Then I'm going to teach you on Monday, hopefully, God willing, rain permitting. I'm going to teach you elimination. Then we're going to use the graphics calculator. So we have to name the method. This is actually a very good question. We have to name the method. And yes, I like to identify what our simultaneous solution actually is. So let me jump in and find what I want to very quickly highlight with you. Actually, I just might do the flip lesson, because if you've done that, then you've done it properly. Flip lesson, substitution, here it is. Okay, so I'll do this one with you today. Solve the following simultaneously. Now, if you remember, it was so long ago. We're going to show you 3 different methods of solving simultaneous solutions. A simultaneous solution is essentially when you've got 2 equations, 2 unknowns. And if you've got 2 unknowns, you must have 2 equations. And our big problem is we can't solve that on its own, because there could be an infinite number of solutions. If x was 2, y is 10. If x is 3, y is 15. We're looking for an x and y, a value of x and y that makes both of them true at the same time. Hence the expression simultaneous. I want a solution. I want an X and I want a Y that will make that true and that true at exactly the same time. That's our purpose. Okay, it's a higher order way of solving equations. It's more what we're going to start doing in 11 and 12. So I need to choose a method. Now we say, if I come back to this, we say that Y here is the subject. It's on its own. And if you see that, then it's ideal for substitution method. The second one here, this is called the general form. And it doesn't bother us either way, but this is the big clue. Y is on its own. Look at this one. X is on its own. This tells me I'm going to use substitution. Because it's going to make more sense next week when we have to choose which is the best method. And some methods are better than others. So that's a good tip. If we got one of the variables on its own, then we're going to gun for substitution. So here's what we do. And again, if you saw the lesson, flip lesson, this would make a bit of sense. I label them, label them, label them. What method are we using? We're going to substitute A into B. A because Y is the subject. So what we're saying here is that Y is exactly the same, that's what we're saying, as 5X. So wherever you see Y, you can replace it with 5X. Hence the term substitution. I've substituted that for that because that's what equation A told me I could do. So now I've got one equation with one unknown. I can go to work now. I can solve that like we've been doing all year. X is -1. Hold the fort, that's only X. I must give X and Y. So I go all the way back to equation A. Equation A said that Y equaled 5 times X, which means 5 equals that. Oh, Y equals that. And there we have it. So I always summarize my answer by saying that. Remember, we must get a solution for X and a solution for Y. We can't just find X. And a lot of you did that in your practice questions. I'm going to move quickly now. Here we go. Stop, hands up if I do something you don't like. There's equation A. There's equation B. Right. This has X as a subject. I'm going to substitute. What am I going to do? I'm going to substitute B and I'm going to put it into A. That's my plan. I'm going to get rid of this by putting in this. Now the brackets matter. What am I doing? I'm getting rid of X. Now it's algebra. Now it's more practice of our algebra. Expand the brackets. Tidy up the right-hand side first. Move the 36. What the heck's that going to be? 8 minus 36 is -28. Please tell me I'm right, somebody. -4. There it is. There's Y. Got Y. Happy days. Y is 4. I've got to work out what X is. So X equals 3Y plus 12. Brilliant. X equals 3 times Y plus 12, which is 0. That's cool. So there is that simultaneous solution. So we've now got a set of numbers that will make both this true and this true. It's a very special particular condition. Grace, what can I do for you, champ?
When the bottom is like at the bottom where the equal sign is that greater than sign like?
Oh, forget that.
Kind of
Yeah, no, that's just me. I should use that word. How's that?
Thank you.
Yeah, no, my apologies, Gracie. Oh, I've never thought of that before. Okay. You made me think there. I will start using the word is. How's that, buddy? Yeah.
Thank you.
What I was actually drawing badly, obviously, was an imply sign. The simultaneous solution is implied by 0, -4. How's that? Either of those would work, Grace. Sorry for that. I can see how that can be confusing. So girls, when we're doing this exercise over the weekend, and this is the one I want you to do for me on the weekend. Let me go back. Where the hell am I? Lost in my little OneNote. Yes, gotcha. Substitution, right? That was the lesson. So my lesson's there. Have a read of it. Have a look at it. There's the flip lesson you did, right? So go back to it, and it says we need to do worksheet 11. So we jump in here, and that's the solutions, you buffhead. Not you, me. Right, here we go. Not a lot. It's just, that's it. Whoa, that's the whole exercise. Now, I've noticed there's a number of girls who've finished that. Brilliant. If you like, pop in, have a look at the next lesson on substitution, on elimination, and have a play around with that flip lesson. However, in each of these, subject, 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 subject. So each of them are going to get substituted into that one. This is classic substitution. Subject, 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 subject. But could you please do them? There's 10 of them. Be brilliant at them. Be flawless. Be perfect. Okay? Because where we're heading requires perfection here. So we aim for it. Because next week we'll do what's called elimination. Now you'll notice here with elimination, neither of those two equations is there a subject. So we're going to use a different method. Then we're going to get into applications. All right? Word questions with simultaneous solutions, more applications, and then we're going to review it all. Okay? So that's the plan for the next couple of days. So your job, make sure you've got your head around that flip lesson, and that's it. There's your whole homework for the weekend. Question 1, 10 of them, and just do them until you're bored silly with them. Camilla, you can do them and you can recognize them, and you've got it. Any questions, girls? Oh, nothing. Hey, Camilla. Oh, it's a thumbs up. Thought you were going to ask me a question. Thank you, Camilla. I love it. Okay, if that's it, if that's ticked your boxes, you've watched your flip lesson, and you've got worksheet 11 to do. Failing that, I would encourage you. I'd actively encourage you to move ahead, jump into here. Oh, if your teacher could use his OneNote properly. Jump into elimination. It's all the dates. I've got to fix all the dates up. And have a look at that. Tick the box. Have a look at it. Particularly would like to see, if anybody does get into this, interested to see if you can work that out. Because it can be done on your graphics calculator. It's really cool. Okay. So if that's your cup of tea and you've done substitution, go to elimination. Oh, Jessica, what's your question?
I just have a question with, like, there's some angles in one of the worksheets where it has like 40 degrees and then it has like 24 and like an apostrophe.
This sort of rubbish. I thought I got rid of all of them. So it's got something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my apologies. What that is that's the fraction equivalent of a degree.
Okay.
Okay. You know what? To make your job easier, and I thought I'd removed all of them. That's called 40 degrees, 22 minutes. Minutes, believe it or not, yes, represents a decimal for a degree. To make your job easy, this is totally not right, but just either do one of two choices. I'll leave the choice up to you, Jessica. Just ignore the fraction part, right? Yeah. Just ignore it, okay? It's a fraction of a degree.
Okay.
We're not doing it. Or call it a decimal. One or the other. It really is not going to have a massive impact on it, Jess.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Good question. I apologize for that. I thought I'd removed all of the degrees and minutes questions out of there for you. I do apologize. I should have been done. So we're good to go. We know what we're doing for Monday. As a minimum, substitution and worksheet 11. Wouldn't hurt you to go back and have a bit of a little bit of a review. But as I'm working on it at the moment, your revision program is starting. I'm just repacing it out now. Okay, I'm spreading a few things out, messing with a few ideas, because we've essentially lost that week that I didn't really want to lose. Okay, so that's where we're at. I'm just, as I said, cleaning up and tidying up now, and I'll have that ready for you. As you can see, we had a couple of practice tests in there, and we should be ready to go on the 28th, 29th of March. Okay? Righto, girls, if there's no other questions, I'll bid you good morning and have a great rest of the day and a good weekend, eh? And I'll hopefully see you all on Monday. Cool?
Thank you.
Thank
Always a
you.
pleasure,
Thank
girls.
Thank
you.
you.
Hear you and see you and
Thank
chat
you.
to you. I'll see you all Monday.
Thank you.
Pleasure, girls. Bye-bye now.